Hello and welcome back to Chaosbane. Last time we went to the Garden of Ursun and found everybody there got killed by the Chaos cultists. We found a book or journal, brought it back to Gorchev. Found out Gorchev might be illiterate, considering he said he would have someone read it to him. And now we're here and we're gonna see what he has to say.
Galina's papers tell a grim tale. After Arcadia and his comrades sacrificed themselves, the others reached the Garden of Ursun and barricaded themselves within. They hid there for weeks. When the food ran out, they crept out at night to search the ruins for supplies. Perhaps that's how the cultists found them. They attacked without warning, throwing themselves against the barricades again and again. Galina and the others fought back with everything they had, and for days the defenses held. But then a new enemy appeared. A faceless savage the cultist called the Bloodborn. It was he who broke through the barricades and desecrated Ursun's sacred garden.
I am sorry, Leonid. I know the news is hard to bear, but there is nothing you could have done.
But now there is. Now we can avenge them. I know where the Bloodborn's camp is. We saw it while searching for supplies just a few days before you arrived.
You want to attack the camp?
I must. They must pay for what they've done. With your help, we can take them by surprise and slaughter them.
This is not my fight, Leonid. I have a mission of my own to complete. You said...
I know what I said. That was before I learned about Arcadia. Now, are you with me or not?
I am with you, Leonid. Do not make me regret it.
Yay, to the Chaos Camp. I find it funny how all of the tips for this character, they're like, oh, you need to go and keep moving and you can touch your familiar to get energy back. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but I can't move and shoot. So I'm either like having to run to this little character, this little sprite, and hit it, or I hit things. And considering I can just sit here and just mow down enemies with a bow and arrow, I think that's a little more worthwhile than touching a stupid sprite occasionally for a couple HP. But, you know, I think that just me, and I think it's another one of those curses of it looks good on paper, but it wasn't programmed right, so it's kind of a janky character. And I get that, that's part and parcel of game design. You can write down a million things, be like, yeah, this is great. But, I mean, the prime example I always use with people to explain it is, think about how sniper rifles in like Call of Duty, a lot of the times where they used to at least have massive hipfire cones, and then people found a way around that of just shoving the barrel inside the person to the point where you pretty much can't miss and get a one-hit kill, turning it into a stupidly short-range shotgun. You know, you can... And that happens even outside of gaming with just general software design. You make something, you think, oh, you know, the people will understand it, and your end user does not do it right. And that's the curse of, you understand it to an intimate level, where you're like, hey, I know every in and out of this program, but your end user doesn't. I can't remember what it was, but I remember one of my teachers telling me about a project that had happened where, like, the developers just kept adding stuff. And by the end of it, they couldn't deliver on what they initially made a deal on because they forgot to or failed to add everything the contract had. They just had a bunch of extra crap. It's like, yeah, I get that. You get wrapped up in your own little world. Yeah. Chaosbane for Khorne. I do like that the Chaosbane are different for each Chaos God. I think that's really neat. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. It's... honestly, I think every Warhammer Fantasy game should have that. Because I always find it weird where it's just like, oh yeah, you become a Chaosbane. You're just some mindless beast. And it's like, yeah, but wouldn't the Chaos God who created the spawn have some influence on its appearance? Maybe its abilities? I mean, that's just my thought process. Because it's like, it's their power that caused it. Why wouldn't the afflicted being have some of their traits? God, I just remembered the Warhammer 40k ships in World of Warships. They had it was like a destroyer or something, and there was one that was Chaos and one that was Space Marines. And the Chaos one, God, that thing was ugly as sin. It felt like it was made by someone who didn't really get Chaos or 40k. They were just handed a bunch of, like, 3D models of different things within, like, Chaos models. Like I think it's like the Noctilith. It's the circle with the 8 points. But it's like a warp gate thing. And they just slap one on the ship, and they've got a, I hate drawing blanks on stuff because it makes me seem like an idiot, but I just can never remember names. Helldrake, that's what it is. They have like a Helldrake head on the front, and I'm like, what are you doing? I get it. I get what you're going for, but it just feels strange. But that's probably just because me being a dork, I know a decent amount. I'm not gonna say a lot, but I know a decent amount, and I kind of get the visual aesthetics and all that. And that makes it really easy to tell when someone doesn't know, and they just kind of slap stuff on it, and they're like, that's chaos. See, it's got the 8-point star thing. I've seen 40k memes before. It's like, yeah. I mean, it's not hard to do a Imperium of Man one. It's just make a giant floating cathedral. It also doesn't help. I'm so particular about things that games like that, and anytime there's like cross-referencing, I'm just like, you didn't do it right. How dare you dishonor the brand I like, you know, peak consumer. I was about to say I kind of hate how I'm just sitting here shooting arrows at everyone, but it's either that or throwing knives the whole time. So it's either one or the other, and that's typically how Diablo goes anyways. You use one ability and just nuke everything. That's what used to happen with my mages. I'd build like... God, I did hardcore mode with so many mage characters in Diablo 3, and they all died horribly. It took me like 9 tries to get a character to survive to max rank, because it just sucked so hard.
Look here! A gift of flesh from Almighty Khorne! Kill the weak and save the rest for the fighting pits! Blood for the blood god!
Why do they always have to make the cultists sound insane? I get it, you know, they're crazy chaos cultists, but I feel like you could have a chaos cultist who is still kind of there. I mean, when I think of, like, especially how Khorne is depicted as just like this god of blood and battle, I imagine a lot of worshippers just being soldiers and mercenaries who can understand, like, the necessity of having, you know, a ruthless mentality when fighting. So I could picture a number of them being fairly sane.
Where is he? Where is the Bloodborn?
There's no sign of him.
Impossible. This is his camp. He's got to be hiding somewhere.
A Khorne berserker hiding from battle. Don't be a fool, Gorchev.
One of the cultists said something about fighting pits. Do you know what he was talking about?
They built them in the ruins near the merchant's quarter. Men die there every day for the glory of the blood god.
Men provided by the Bloodborn and his war band.
Then that is where you must strike next. Hunt this monster down and destroy him wherever he hides. Do this, and I will be forever in your debt.
Yay, he dropped a white piece of gear. Well, that's all for now. If you like this episode, please make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. If you're new, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.